Hello and welcome to this week's Tuesday Checklist, the show where we Apex Legends, and do you want a game of Apex Legends? Recently we've been playing Apex Legends and frankly we can't stop. It's all anyone at the Access office can think about, can you tell? It's a free-to-play multiplayer battle royale game with an ingeniously simple way of communicating with other players called the ping system, which works perfectly if you or other players aren't using a headset and, crucially, allows you to work effectively with people you don't even know. This got us reminiscing about all the lovely strangers we've met online over the years. Strangers we'll never, ever forget. Dave is up first with a tale from, you guessed it, Apex Legends.
I love strangers, guys. I don't know. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. I love strangers, especially strangers on the internet. They're my favourite kind. I've been playing loads of Apex Legends. I say loads, not as much as I want to be playing because I've been busy. Apex Legends is doing a fantastic job of making people work together, and it's all about its ping system. Ping. And basically it is just you point at things and you say, I'm going to go here, or you say, there's an enemy there, or you say, I've got a gun here, do you want a gun? Or you say, I need a gun, or something else. And there's a little button for thank you, or a little button for acknowledging, and that is basically it. But for some reason, it just is making people work together. So this video is kind of about times we've met nice strangers on the internet, right? And this is an example of that. However, I think I was the nice stranger in this situation. And it just happens we have it recorded. But Nathan and I did a stream of Apex Legends. And the last game, this never happens on streams for us either. The last game I managed to win with a lot of help from everybody in the chat and Nath. Everyone was very supportive. Thanks, but it did not seem like it was going to go that way at the beginning, because we jumped in. I was not the jump master, and I know I've just been saying how nice everybody is in Apex Legends. I must admit I was judging the jump master a little bit with his choice of landing zone and just the actual landing. We kind of landed into a wall. It wasn't ideal, and it was one of those situations where there was no gun. There was no gun anywhere. I don't know how, when this happens in a battle royale game, you're just like, I just don't understand it.
It's happened to me in Apex Legends before.
I was hoovering up like the bits of guns. I had like a few scopes, I had a muzzle, I had like a stock, I had like everything apart from the bit that fires the bullets. Like the rest of it, it was like a kit. Like one of those magazines where it's like, every week, get a new bit of gun.
Soon I'll get the gun.
And so I'm just like running into rooms, just picking up just anything. Is that a gun? Is that a gun? Meanwhile, you could suddenly saw the little HUD display of my teammates, they start going red, and their life just goes down and down and down. And they're immediately out, and both of my teammates were out. I think probably luckily, really for me, because I didn't have a gun, I was like, well, I'm not going to go and help you, because I will be useless and I will be shot to death. Yeah. So rather than running back in like a hero with a gun, I stayed away for a little while. And the good thing is, right, this is kind of testament to, I think, how people are approaching Apex Legends. In Apex Legends, once you're downed, you can be revived. And if you're not revived within a certain time, or if someone comes and finishes you off, then you can still be recovered for I think there's about a minute or 90 seconds where you basically become a box. And if your friend comes to your box, picks up your little poster, they can then take you to a redeployment area and redeploy you. And I think that in a lot of other games, people, once they've been downed and then finished off, they're not waiting for redeployment. They're not going to sit for 90 seconds and on the off chance, because I think in a lot of other games, people aren't coming back to get you and they're just out for themselves. But in Apex Legends, both of these guys, they went down immediately, and I didn't have a gun for like 30 or 45 seconds of their recovery time. They both stayed and waited. They didn't even ping. There's a button that you can press to ping like, hello, I'm here, waiting, I'm a box, waiting to be recovered. They didn't even do that, they just sat patiently. And I know that they were watching my screen, because that's what happens once you're downed, like you then start seeing your squad mates'
you can still,
screen.
Sometimes you do see people just wandering away.
Yeah, and I did wonder, because I watched this back, like, I wonder if they thought that's what I was doing, although it was obvious I didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
But I was just looking in rooms, just not worrying about them, looking for a gun. And of course I did eventually find one, and I ran back and I picked them up. Didn't know that this could happen, but you can recover 2 guys at the same time. Ran over, I mean, I'm skipping ahead now, redeployed them, and then we won the game. It was fantastic. It was one of those situations where I was the good guy. They hung around, they did their bit. Like, they weren't bad, they weren't a liability. I was kind of annoyed at them because we landed in a rubbish place. But there was no, like, bad play on their part. And once they were recovered, we were like a great team and we stuck together. I think Apex Legends is the apex game for meeting strangers on the internet and having valuable interactions, like actually coming together in a meaningful way. And I really hope that people can figure out exactly why that is. Like, what I think it's the ping system, but it's not just that. And figure out exactly why that is and bottle it and just put it in all games, because it's just an absolute joy to play with other people online, and not every online game is like that.
So, a stranger that I met online, and Dave also met online,
Oh no.
was when we were playing Fallout 76.
Oh no.
And this is one of my favourite things that's ever happened, I think,
Right.
in terms of meeting other players online.
Yeah.
Storytelling.
Dave and I were doing a live stream of Fallout 76, and our goal was to find somewhere nice to make a camp. We were both still very early on in the game. We didn't have great equipment, so the world was still very dangerous for us. And we picked out what we thought was a very nice, isolated-looking island, I think, all the way onto the west.
I believe it was called Deathclaw
side.
Island.
That was you ruined my big reveal now, Dave.
Oh, sorry.
Crying out loud. I'm trying to tell a story.
Yeah, but we didn't think there would actually be one there.
No, but anyway. So yeah, we journeyed across, we found this island. It turned out it's called Deathclaw Island. And initially everything seemed to be fine. There were no Deathclaws. It was quite a small island.
It was an island.
We thought would make a great place for a camp because it was defendable. We had a good view of people coming, and they'd have to get across the water to get to us.
Natural moat.
Yeah, it'd be great. And then all of a sudden, out of the ground, erupted this Deathclaw.
It's not fair that you can live underground.
And we tried to have a little go at it. We quickly realised we just didn't have enough ammo or enough power to take this thing down successfully. And then, out of nowhere, a hero emerged by the name of Wouter.
Yeah.
And Wouter was far more powerful than Dave and I, and he helped us kill this Deathclaw. I think he just ran in and clobbered it to death with actual ease. We then proceeded to play Fallout 76 with Wouter for the next, must have been 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Just, surviving together, forming a bond. While this was happening, Nathan and I were like writing on a notepad.
Murder? Question mark?
Murder. Shall we kill him? And I think Nathan was also WhatsApping Dave, who was playing in the main office room. So Dave wasn't on the live stream, but he was playing along with us. Nathan was WhatsApping him, okay, the murder is going to happen at the observatory. So Dave decided on the live stream, I think I'd like to go here to this observatory, just check it out, it'd be nice. And we were like, yes, let's go to the observatory, everyone. And so Wouter came along with us, killed some monsters with us, helped us out, was never anything less than an incredibly nice companion. He was really helpful.
Nice.
Everyone in the chat was, loving Wouter.
They were.
Oh, Wouter's great. Yeah, Wouter. And so we did the thing, and there's that moment where I think we turned friendly fire off in our fire team, and so for us to murder Wouter, I had to kick him from the fire team. So
Yes.
we lined it up. Nathan gave Dave the signal. I kicked Wouter, and me and Dave just opened fire on him. And there was we had the element of surprise, because I think in a one-on-one, Wouter would have definitely beaten us.
Yeah.
But Dave and I together, with the element of surprise, we shot him off a cliff,
Yeah.
basically, and then he died.
Awful people.
And
I felt terrible immediately afterwards.
I remember Domino, the mod, was loving it. He was like, "Yes, finally!" And I think the chat was definitely split. Some people thought it was great and funny. Others were very disappointed. Wowster didn't deserve. And I think, Dave, it's time for you to maybe explain what happened after the stream.
Well,
just to make us feel a little less bad about what we did to Wouter.
Yeah, but I went a step further than just killing Wouter, and I mopped up all of his loot, everything.
Yeah.
And just a split-second decision, and I thought, why have I done that? That's so mean. So then, after the stream, I added Wouter as a friend, and then I met up with him in the game world, and I gave him everything I had, and he was fine. We messaged a little bit.
No hard feelings.
He was like, no hard feelings. I don't know if he meant it.
My story about coming together with a stranger on the internet is from a long time ago, back in the days of PS3. I know.
Should we do wavy?
Yeah, we should make it black and white. 4:3.
You look exactly the same.
I was playing Dark Souls, and I didn't understand it at all. I decided to play Dark Souls knowing that it was going to be challenging and that it was going to be difficult and there would be loads of stuff I didn't understand about it. I think this might have been the time before I tried again and then really got into it, because I used a guide, and it turns out it's much easier with a guide. And I was going through the Undead Burg right at the beginning, very early on. I didn't understand a thing, and I still, I'm not the sort of person that soaks up loads about how the systems work and loads about Dark Souls. I knew, I used the guide to kind of just decide which pathway I was going down, so I wouldn't get horribly lost in the world. And I learnt enough about the weapons that I could get by. And I played as a necromancer, pyromancer, in order that it was basically what the guide said would be the easiest, and it was quite easy. You just burn stuff. So I'm playing the game anyway. Don't understand how the multiplayer works at all, apart from still struck by the novelty of there being loads of things on the floor that you can read.
Yeah.
Like little messages which are made from key phrases, like surprise here, or ooh, look out, edge, or stuff like that.
Treasure around the corner.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
actually a trap.
Good
Definitely
surprise here. And some of them are traps and some of them aren't, but it's like an interesting, you're kind of interpreting them. So I guess I was clicking on a few. I didn't know what summon signs were, the other people, so you can get items in the game, you can put a mark down, and if another player, that will appear in another player's world, and if they touch it, they will summon you to their world to help.
Right.
I didn't know that, it was just a mark on the floor, I was like a kid in an arcade just pressing all the buttons.
Yeah.
So I pressed one button and a guy turns up, and I knew that people could invade you. I was like, is this guy going to kill me? Because people had come into my world and invaded me before. No, he was going to help me. And this guy is probably singularly responsible for the fact that I carried on playing Dark Souls and finished it.
Yeah.
Because the thing that he did, so we're talking in the first kind of, certainly half an hour.
Right, okay.
You get up to, you've seen that long bridge and the dragon's there, and if you try and just run along the top of the bridge, the dragon just burns everything.
Yeah.
We got there, so he got me to that point, which was further than I'd ever been before.
Yeah.
But he was kind of just running ahead and just murdering stuff, and then suddenly he pushing me over to a certain point underneath the bridge, and he's like, this item gives me this thing, and it's a Drake sword. And I'm like, I've got no idea what a Drake sword is. I don't know how he's got it. I don't know what's going on, but it's really good.
Okay.
And so I equip it, and then suddenly this area which you have to be really careful, and I have to chip away at all the bad guys and level up and do circuits to get better and actually play the game properly. Instead, I just had a really cool sword, and then that was my launching pad to actually playing the game. But imagine coming into somebody's world, because there is an incredible community in Dark Souls of players who, even people who invade you, sometimes if you go on forums and stuff, there's an etiquette to this guy's taking on the area boss. I'm not going to try and kill this guy, or they'll kill you. But if they've got any spare items, they'll leave them for you in the world. So when someone's actually helping you, this guy obviously saw me, was like, "Oh dear,
This guy needs help.
How can I help this guy?" Got me this sword and made me into someone who then played the game, which is it's a really sophisticated and strange community on Dark Souls. But that guy, whoever that was, thank you very much.
So there is a game where I've met a stranger before, and I will never forget him or her. To this day, his name is still very clear in my head. The game is Modern Warfare.
Fantastic game.
On PS3. And me and a group of friends, me and 3 other guys, sort of got into this routine at school where we'd basically talk about it all day at school.
Yeah.
And then rush home and start playing it straight away.
I remember it so well.
And we all had headsets, which was great at the time because not everybody had headsets in like the PS3 days, but we did,
Big
which
advantage.
was nice. But there was 4 of us, and I think in Modern Warfare, I'm right in saying there's often 5 on a team.
I think it's 5 or 6.
I think it's 5 or 6 on a team.
I think it can be 5, definitely.
So there'd be us in our little bubble of friendships, and we'd play in team deathmatch. There'd be 4 of us, and then
An extra.
and a +1,
Yeah.
or maybe a +2.
Welcome to the team, other person.
And there's always that feeling in a lobby, in Modern Warfare especially, it would show your ranks, and the lobby would sort of assemble, and people would get dragged in, and you'd all just appear, and then
Yeah.
the team would get split. And I don't know, I guess we must have been like, level would have been like high 20s, early 30s or something.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get a guy that came in that was like level 10 or level 5.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, this is
Yeah.
going to be a bit tricky now because we've got like a newcomer. Not necessarily, might have been great.
Yeah.
But there's just that feeling of someone not so good. And this one match, the map was vacant. I remember it very clearly. And the teams got split, and we were given a guy called the Puddinator.
Yes.
And it had the number 8 in the name.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah.
Puddin, number 8, R.
That is
The
great.
Puddinator.
That's good.
And he was rank 3.
Oh.
So at this point, we're feeling a bit nervous. The other guys are like, high 30s. And you're thinking this is going to be tough here. So we go into the game, and the Puddinator's amazing. He's just an absolute hero. He's really carrying us. He's like sliding around, throwing grenades, getting kill streaks. It's going really well for us, and we're winning. And then maybe like a third of the way into the game, one of my friends died and respawned at the spawn point. And he said, Dan, you've got to come over here. Something's happened to the Puddinator.
Oh, no.
So I went back to the ran back to the spawn point, and the Puddinator was just slowly rotating.
No.
No.
And then he stopped rotating, and then he just slowly walked forward into a wall.
No.
And I don't know what happened, but either he'd got possessed, or given the pad to his dog,
Yeah.
or malfunctioned or something. But the Puddinator had gone from being the best player on the team to being unable to use the controller at all.
No, liability.
And I don't know what happened. Maybe he'd given it to like a younger
guess his-
sibling or
Could it
something,
still
or a
be
parent.
shot?
His internet connection had dropped out.
But it might have been a lag thing, but it wasn't anything like visual. It was just like his play just suddenly got really bad.
Maybe
Like-
he realised he was carrying your team and he was like, guys.
But it's not like
Come on.
it's not like he's just suddenly started to get a bit worse. It was
Right,
like
yeah.
he was suddenly blindfolded.
Yeah.
He just couldn't do anything. So he went from being the best player to quite quickly the worst player on our team. But then we were carrying him, but it wasn't going very well. And then out of nowhere, I should have mentioned he was silent this whole time. We had no contact
Right,
with him, no
right,
vocal
yeah.
interaction. And from nowhere, his
excited
mic
about
his
what's
mic
going
clicked on, and this kid's voice shouted, "Mum, I want a cookie!" And that was it.
Was that the problem? The problem was that he didn't have a cookie and started playing?
Hey,
What-
you know what?
I need to know what happened. At the
I
end of the
heard
game.
that story immediately and thought that the Puddinator was the kid, but maybe the Puddinator was the mum. And the kid was just like in the next room going, stop playing Call of Duty.
I don't know
want a
which way it was.
cookie."
Maybe the mum was really good at the start, and then
Yeah.
the kid took over and was like demanding cookies.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the other way around, and the mum
Yeah.
took over, and the kid was demanding cookies after
How did
that.
the game go, Dan? That's how I need to know.
I think we lost.
Oh man.
Because the Puddinator didn't do it for us. But the way that it brought us together was in the lobby at the end of the game. It sort of brings both teams back together again.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like group chat. And someone on the other team just said, "The Puddinator," and we just burst out laughing. And it was great. And then we sort of grouped up with them and went on to the next match together. I added the Puddinator as a friend, and so did the other guys that I was playing with. He never came online ever again.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's a
Do you know
dark
what's
tale.
funny about this as well? I mean, maybe you guys have already got this, is that Puddinator is a bit like Pudding Eater, and a cookie is
That's
a
true.
bit like a pudding, sort of.
Yeah.
Maybe he fulfilled his
So-
purpose.
Yeah.
Simply
So
disappeared.
if you're out there, Puddinator, I want to play with you again.
Yeah. Let's not forget as well that after killing Wouter, you went very quiet for a minute again, you and Nath, giggling in the room, and then you came for me. You came for me. But who
Yeah,
won that?
you
Who
did,
won
Dave.
that round?
Well done.
That's right. I'm the best at Fallout 76.
Well done.
You know me, Dave, I was just messing, just some cheeky virtual attempted murder, don't worry about it. Let us know in the comments if you've ever encountered a helpful online stranger. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video and hit that notification bell so you never miss another Tuesday checklist. Thanks for watching and see you next week.
For the players.